The first one, I kind of call it the washing machine. So this one, you're gonna wanna sit down. You can sit in a chair if a chair is easier. I like sitting on the ground and crisscross applesauce. You can also put your legs out, whatever is most comfortable for you. And so we're gonna start, and I want you to sit as tall as you can and just like kind of make it feel like your head is trying to touch the ceiling almost. Just try to sit up nice and tall. And then what we're gonna do is we're gonna start doing some breathing. And so I'll show you what we do, and then we'll do it together as a group. So for this exercise, what you do is you do a big deep breath while you're facing forward, and then you're gonna turn over to your side and you breathe out. And you look back in front of you again and breathe in, and then you turn to the other side and breathe out. All right, so it'll be, so make sure you do big breaths. Sometimes it's good to be able to hear your breathing. That's how you know you can do some really big, loud ones. All right, so we're gonna start out and do 5 of those nice and slow. And then we're gonna do 10 a little bit faster. And I'll just follow me and I'll kind of tell you when to breathe in and out, all right? All right, so we're gonna do this all together, if that makes sense. All right, so facing forward, you go, breathe in, turn and breathe out. Turn back forward and breathe in, and go the opposite direction and breathe out. Forward, breathe in.
There's a demonstration.
Turn and breathe out. All right, everyone got the hang of that one? All right, we're gonna do it again, and we're gonna go a little bit faster, all right? So I'm just gonna say breathe in and breathe out, and you guys know to turn after you breathe in, all right? Okay, so ready? Breathe in, breathe out. Breathe in, breathe out. Breathe in, breathe out. Breathe in, breathe out. Everyone feeling good? All righty. So now that we've done that one, got your breathing going a little bit, stretched out your back a little bit by turning, we're gonna stay seated in the same position, and we're just gonna do some neck rolls. And so you can just kind of relax your shoulders, wiggle them a little bit if you want, and you can just rotate your neck like this. And you just kind of turn it around. You start and you look really far down at the ground, like you're trying to touch the forehead to the ground. And then you rotate your head so that your face is facing the ceiling. And you can keep going in circles like that. And you can also switch directions if that feels good for you too. It's nice and relaxing, a good way to help wake yourself up, and make sure you're doing some nice deep breaths while you're doing it. Don't forget to breathe. All righty. So now we're gonna do another warm up that you guys might remember from last week. It's called cat-cow. And so this one, you kind of get up on your hands and knees like this. So you're gonna put your knees on the ground, you're gonna put your hands on the ground, and you're gonna kind of turn yourself into a table. And this one, you start out like a cat, and you can kind of, you stick your back down towards the ground, and you can put your head and then kind of look up, and you pretend to be a cat, like meow or hiss or whatever. And then kind of go like this and stick your back and try to touch it to the ceiling if you can, like this. And when your back is pointing to the ceiling, then you kind of get your forehead pointing towards the ground, if that makes sense, all right? So we're gonna go nice and slow. So we're gonna go back where our backs are trying to touch the ground and our foreheads are trying to touch the ceiling. And then we're gonna switch again. So our backs try to touch the ceiling and our foreheads try to touch the ground. Everyone doing all right with this one? Awesome. All right, we're gonna put our backs back towards the ground and our foreheads towards the ceiling again. We're gonna do 3 more. So foreheads to the ground. And remember to take deep breaths. All right, foreheads to the ceiling. The last one, foreheads to the ground again. All righty. Now what we're gonna do is you can do these standing up if you sit down. I'm standing up because I like having, make sure you have tons of room around you. You kind of stick your arms out, do a little spin, make sure you're not gonna hit anything. All right, and this one, we're just gonna do some arm circles together. So we're gonna start with whatever arm you want, And we're just gonna kind of go big circles. Just kind of make it loose, swing around like you're trying to draw a big, big circle to your side, like this. For all you swimmers out there, it's a little bit like when you're swimming and you're trying to do that big forward stroke. Now we're gonna switch directions. So now you're gonna swing your arm backwards like you're doing a backstroke almost. And try to do the circles as big as you can make it comfortable. If you can't really do the big circles, or if your shoulder's bothering you or anything like that, you can just do that as best as you can, or you can try to do a little bit of a swing like this. Swings like this are nice to like loosen up our shoulders. And you can kind of try to hug yourself and then try to clap behind your back. Sometimes I can do it. I can't do it today, but that one's always fun to do, where you just try to loosen up your shoulders. All right. And for those of you who did the arm circles the first time around, we're going to do the other arm now. And do the big circles in this forward direction like you're doing front stroke. All righty. And now we're going to switch and go backwards again. All righty. And then the last things we're going to do is, I don't know if you remember from last week, our shoulder stretches, where you reach behind your back and you kind of try to hold your own hand, and then you try to push your shoulders back as far as you can and open up your chest. And you want to take some nice deep breaths. You can kind of make your face point towards the ceiling and go, yeah, just let your chest kind of open up there. Nice job, everybody. All right, everyone feel warmed up? Is anybody having anything that's a little bit tight or sore that they want to stretch out, or are we good? Yeah, awesome. All right, so now we're gonna start our workout. So we have 3 exercises today that we're gonna do together. So I'm going to show you what each of them is. I'm gonna like explain what the exercise is, and then we're all gonna do it together, all right? So the first one we're gonna do, you guys might already know this one, is just some jumping jacks, all right? So this is another stand-up one. And I know a lot of you probably know what this one is, but I'm gonna demonstrate it anyway. So you start out, let's see, start out kind of standing like a stick, like this, and then you're gonna jump and put your feet out like this, and you're gonna clap above your head. And I know you can't quite see me all the way. Let me move my computer a little bit more. All right, like this. So you're standing like a pencil, and then you go like this, all right? And we're gonna go a little faster if you can. And if you can't do the jumping jacks, you can just do little claps if you don't wanna do the jumping part and that bothers you. And you can try to do them above your head, or you can do them in front, whatever works best for you. And if your arms don't really wanna do the clapping because that's a little too difficult, we can just kind of do a little bit of step out, step in action, or you can just raise your arms a little bit, whatever feels good for you, all right? So we're gonna get started with the jumping jacks. We're gonna try to do 20 together, all right? And we can go them nice and slow. We don't need to go super fast, all right? So we're gonna go 1, clap, down, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. All right, I'm gonna go a little faster for the next 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. All right, good job, everyone. That was kind of our cardio for today. That should have gotten you maybe a little bit warmer than you already were. So this next exercise, we're gonna be lying on the ground. All right, so we can all just kind of relax on the ground like this. And you wanna put your feet on the floor, so your knees will be pointing to the ceiling, but you're lying down, all right? And so these ones, they're called glute bridges. So what we do is you're gonna take your butt, right now it's on the ground, and you're gonna be lifting it up, and you're gonna try to touch your hips to the ceiling. So you wanna get your hips as high as you can. And if you're having a hard time, a good way to get your hips higher is if you like squeeze your butt a little bit, it'll push your hips even higher. So you're trying to get as flat like this as you can so that hips are close to the ceiling, all right? And then you can put your butt right back down on the ground. And that's one glute bridge. So if that's not easy for you, what you can do is you can like lay down a little bit and you can just do little butt squeezes if you can't like lift your hips like that, if it's not flexible. You just do butt squeezes at the same time as we do glute bridges. That's all right too. And you can do those sitting down too. And it's totally okay. All right. So we're going to get started on these glute bridges. These ones are nice and slow. So we're going to try to do 15 of them. All right. All right. So ready? Up. And then we're going to squeeze at the top. Down. 1. Up and squeeze at the top. Down. 2. And don't forget to breathe. Up. Squeeze at the top. Down. 3. Up. Squeeze at the top. Down. 4. Up. Squeeze at the top. Down. 5. Up and squeeze at the top. Down. 6. Up. Squeeze at the top. Down. 7. Up. Squeeze at the top. Down. 8. Up. Squeeze at the top. Down. 9. Up. Squeeze at the top. Down. 10. Up. Squeeze at the top. Down. 11. Up. Squeeze at the top. Down. 12. Up. Squeeze at the top. Down. 13. 2 more, guys. Up. Squeeze at the top. Down. 14. Last one. Up. Squeeze at the top. And down. 15. Great job. All righty. How's everyone feeling? We can do a little bit of like a 30-second break. Get some water if you need some water. Just relax for a second there. And then we have one more exercise that I'm going to show you guys. And then we're going to try to put all 3 of them together. At the end, we're going to do each of them one more time. And then we can do a cool down. Sound good? All righty. So the next thing we're going to do is called ski jumps. So I'm going to show you a kind of hard version, and then I'm going to show you a little bit easier versions, all right? So the really hard version, and if you're a rock star and you want to try it, you can totally go for it, is you're going to be standing up kind of like this, and you're just going to kind of take a jump to the side, and then you squat down on one leg. Now that one is pretty tricky. So what you can do instead is you kind of can just step out to the side, and you can leave this foot on the ground and sit down like you're sitting in a chair, all right? And then you can step back in. And then if you want, you step the other way. And you squat down like you're sitting in a chair, and then you step back in. Sound good with everyone? All right. So you can add in the jump, or you can add in the picking up the foot if you really want to make it difficult for yourself. But otherwise, just one step out and then sit down. And if even that one's a little tricky, you can take as small a step out as you want. You really don't need to step very far at all. And you don't need to sit far at all either. You can just do however's comfortable. If you kind of go like that, that's as far as you're comfortable going. And that's totally fine. And if you can't do the squats because that hurts your knees, you can just do some like side steps, a little bit like that, if that works. Or if you want to do the squats but you can't go side to side, we can do a little wall sit action where you pretend you're sitting in a chair on the wall. All right? So we're going to get started with the ski jumps. So we're going to do 15 of them on each side, all right? Okay. So I'm going to start going this direction. You guys can start in any direction you want, all right? So we're going to go, sit down, back to center. Sit down, back to center. 1, down, center, down, center, 2. Down, center, down, center, 3. Down, center, down, center, 4. Down, center, down, center, 5. Down, center, down, center, 6. Down, center, down, center, 7, down, center, down, center, 8. We're halfway there. down, center, down, center, 9, down, center, down, center, 10, down, center, down, center, 11, down, center, down, center, 12, down, center, down, center, 13, 2 more, down, center, down, center, 14, last one, down, center, down, center. And we're done. Nice job, everyone. All righty. And actually, looking at the time, I'm gonna move us straight into cool down, especially since we did a good number of all of those already. And if you guys have any of those that you really like, or if you're looking for a workout later this week, you can totally do those exact exercises however many times you want. All right, so today for our cool downs, we're gonna start, we can just do a couple of deep breaths, get some water if you need it, and then, I don't know if you remember the progressive straddle from last week. So what we're gonna do is you're gonna stand up like this, and then we're just kind of gonna fold over like we're gonna touch the ground, but we don't actually try to touch the ground. We can kind of think of U with our hands, and we just swing around and we kind of hang out here. You can just kind of loosen up, flop around. If you're still getting water, that's all good too. And just do some nice deep breaths. Breathing is the most important thing here, guys. So even if you can't do the movement, just do some nice big breaths. Alrighty, so now we're gonna stand up, and we're gonna try to spread out our feet a little more if we can. And we can go down and kind of hang there, shake it out a little bit more. Alrighty, and then one more step out wide. We're gonna shake for 3 seconds, and then we are gonna try to touch the ground if you can, all right? 1, 2, 3. All right, and now we're gonna try to get our fingers to touch the ground if we can. If it hurts, do not push it so that it hurts too bad, all right? If it hurts, it's okay to have your fingers hovering above the ground if that's as far as you can go. Or if you need to bend your legs a little bit to touch the ground, that's okay too, whatever works for you. And if you aren't able to do this movement and this isn't comfortable for you and you're sitting down, you can also just kind of lean forward in your chair and try to touch your toes like that, whatever works. All right, I'm gonna give everyone 5 more seconds kind of in this position. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All righty, now we can sit down. All right, for our next cool down, I don't know if you guys remember knee hugs from last week. So we're gonna do the knee hugs again. All right, so remember, you can put your other leg, can be out in front of you. You can kind of have it crisscross applesauce, whatever is comfortable at all. And now you're gonna take whichever leg you love more, and you're just gonna hug it super tight to your chest. And you wanna hug it as tight as you can without it hurting. So if at any point this hurts, you don't need to hug it as tight. You can kind of loosen it up a little bit, or if you can tell me and I can recommend something else. But yeah, you can hug that knee as close as you can to your chest. And if your knee isn't getting close to your chest and this isn't the most comfortable position, you can also kind of turn your body away from where your knee is, like this or like this, whatever works best for you. All righty, we're gonna hold this one for 10 more seconds. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. All right, now we're gonna do our other leg. So whatever you did to your first leg, we're just gonna switch and try to hug your other knee as close to your chest as you can. Remember some nice deep breaths, and whatever worked for you with the first leg, try that again. So you can turn away from your leg again if that made you feel more comfortable, or just hugging it to your chest, whatever works the best for you. And so when you're doing these stretches, you should kind of feel it on the outside of your butt almost, and the outside of your leg on this side, because that's the side we're stretching right now. So with the glute bridges, we worked out our butts a little bit. So it's important that we do the stretch to stretch them out now. All righty. I'm gonna give us 10 more seconds here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Nice, and we can do a couple of deep breaths here. All right, this one is gonna be a little bit of a trickier one, but it's really fun. So I'm gonna show you how to do it first, and then we're gonna do it together. So this one, it's kind of two positions combined. So you go from child's pose to cobra. So child's pose is you kind of sit down like this and you just flop on the ground. So you can kind of stretch out your hands in front of you a little bit, but you're just kind of hanging out like this. And it's called child's pose because that's how a lot of kids sleep at night when they're younger. And so you just kind of hang out like this. Your head can rest on the ground and you just want to relax your back. And sometimes for a second, you feel your back kind of getting tight and then it relaxes and it almost lets you get closer to the floor. And that's kind of what we're aiming for. You want to kind of get your chest and your head close to the floor and just relax everything. So this one, nothing should be tight. And you can just kind of wiggle a little bit if you want, just to make sure everything's loose. All right? So then what we're gonna do is we're gonna move from this position and our hands and feet can kind of stay where they are. But then we're gonna lie down on our stomachs like this, and we're gonna use our hands to push our chest up, and we're gonna try to look at the sky like this. This one's called cobra, and it'll stretch your chest a little bit, it'll stretch your back a little bit. Only press as high as is comfortable. If this hurts, you can also just go like this or this. So however stretches the right amount for you. So we're gonna hold this for a couple of seconds and we're gonna go back to child's pose and we're gonna switch them 2 or 3 times. When you're in cobra, you can do a little dance like this. I don't know if you've ever seen, I don't know, what movies have snakes in them? There's a couple movies, but Disney movies, I think, that have little snakes that do their dance like this. You can kind of do a little bit of a dance. All right, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All righty. So now we're gonna go just right back to the child's pose and we can just flop down on the ground again and just relax everything. And if in child's pose you're getting a little bored or you just want a bit of a better stretch, you can take your hands and while staying in child's pose, you can kind of try to walk your hands out. And that'll help stretch out your back a little bit. And so you can try to touch the wall in front of you or whatever's in front of you and kind of reach your fingers out while everything else is nice and relaxed. Your legs should be totally relaxed. Your neck should be totally relaxed. Everything should kind of just be flopped on the ground. Alrighty, we're gonna hang out here for a couple more seconds. All right, now we're gonna go back to the cobra pose. So remember, you lie down and then you can push up your chest however far is comfortable for you. Nice, some good deep breaths. All right, and after this one, we're gonna go back to child's pose one last time. So whenever you're ready, you can just put yourself back in child's pose. If cobra is more comfortable for you than child's pose, you can also hang out in cobra for a little bit longer, whatever makes your body happy. All right, so we're gonna spend probably 15 more seconds here in child's pose and relax. Remember to take some nice big breaths. righty, and we can sit up. And I know this was a class favorite last week, so I included it this week, but we can do the happy baby pose for our last cool down if we want. So we're just gonna kind of hang out on the ground, and we can stick our feet up in the air and try to hold our feet and just kind of relax here. And if your back is still a little tight, you can kind of roll around a little bit. You might get stuck and have to kick yourself off, but you know, whatever's comfortable. This one is one that you can kind of play around with. So if you want to kick your feet a little bit, or don't pull very hard with your hands. But if you pull a little bit with your hands, you might get a little bit of a stretch in your legs, but you don't want to pull too hard because you can hurt yourself. You can do it very gently if you want. But overall, just kind of relax here and do whatever makes you happy. All right, we're going to give it 15 more seconds. Five, four, three, two, one. All righty. And I think we're all set for what I had planned today. So
Thank you, Callie.
Thank you, Callie.
Thank you, Callie.
no problem.
Thank you, Callie.
I couldn't see everyone, but everyone who I saw was doing great. So